Part 1. Imagine, for just a moment, that everything you've ever believed about time, about past, present, and future, isn't quite as solid as you thought. Take a breath, close your eyes, and allow your mind to drift into a new possibility. Picture the events of your life not as a straight line, neatly divided into before and after, but as an interconnected web, an invisible dance of moments, all existing at once. Now imagine this. The idea that your past, your present, and even your future may not be separate at all. They may not be linear. They may not even be distinct. What if everything is happening together, all at once, in a space where the boundaries of time dissolve into something more fluid, more mysterious, more alive? The voice of the narrator breaks gently into this thought, soft, reflective, and filled with wonder. Imagine for a moment that the line between your past, your present, and even your future doesn't exist. There is a pause, a delicate silence that invites your mind to wander, because quantum entanglement ties everything into one singular reality. That single sentence carries weight, a gentle kind of gravity. It lands not just in your ears, but in your chest, and you feel it not just as a concept, but as a shift, a quiet internal knowing. As if something inside you recognizes a truth you never knew you were missing. Your heart skips, because if time itself is woven together like strands of light in a spider's web, delicate yet unbreakable, then perhaps you are woven the same way. Perhaps everything about you, every memory, every dream, every choice, every version of who you could have been or could still become is not lost or locked in some distant corner of time. Perhaps it's all here, all now. And just like that, you sense a door opening. A door you didn't know was there. A door not made of wood or glass or metal, but of awareness, of realization, of a kind of vision that doesn't come from sight, but from something deeper, something ancient, something quantum. It's in that stillness, in that gentle unraveling of what you thought was true, that you begin to feel it, the vibration of possibility. The echo of other timelines, other choices, other yous, some thriving, some lost, some just waiting to be remembered. And now you must ask the question, what if time is not a river flowing forward, but a vast ocean, where every wave touches every other, where the past sends ripples into the future, and the future quietly calls back to shape the present? What if your life is not just a story, unfolding one page at a time, but a living manuscript written and rewritten in every moment, each thought, each feeling, each intention altering the script in subtle but powerful ways? Quantum physics dares to suggest just that. And this is not science fiction. This is science unfolding. Because nestled deep within the strange, perplexing world of quantum mechanics is a phenomenon so profound, so mysterious, that it challenges the very way we perceive reality. Quantum entanglement. It sounds like a technical term, perhaps too complex to grasp in full, but its meaning is surprisingly simple and astonishing. It means that two particles, no matter how far apart, can remain connected, entangled, acting in harmony instantaneously without any known form of communication. Touch one, and the other reacts. Change one, and the other shifts. No delay. No distance, no explanation that classical physics can fully offer. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. And for good reason. It defies everything we once believed about space, time, and causality. But it doesn't stop at particles. Because if the universe is built on these entangled particles, then so is everything in it, including you. And if you too are entangled with other particles, other versions of yourself, then what does that say about who you are, or who you could become? Suddenly your mind starts racing. Possibility blooms. Could this explain the mysterious ways your instincts guide you? The déjà vu that haunts you? The sudden flashes of clarity, like you're remembering a future that hasn't happened yet? Could this be why you feel drawn to certain paths, as if you've walked them before? Could this be why you wake with tears for a dream that never was and yet felt real? You begin to wonder, what if, hidden within the quantum nature of existence, is a kind of cosmic mirror reflecting not just who you are, but all the other versions of you that could exist. The version of you who followed your heart, the version who never gave up, the version who walked away just in time, the version who stayed a little too long, the version who still lives in your dreams. And here's the most exhilarating part. What if the connection between you and them is still active? What if, right now, your choices ripple across timelines, and theirs ripple back? What if the way you show up in this moment sends signals not just through space, but through time? This is not a fantasy. This is the edge of modern science. This is the whisper of quantum theory, inviting you to imagine something more expansive than the clock on your wall or the calendar on your desk. Because perhaps you are not just a product of your past, perhaps you are a co-creator of your future. And not just a future, but many futures. Futures that already exist in possibility, waiting, watching, hoping you'll choose the version of yourself that is most aligned, most awake, most powerful. The narrator returns, their voice now steady, clear, almost reverent. You see, they say, if time is not linear, if everything is connected through entanglement, then every thought you think, every word you speak, every belief you hold, it matters. It shifts something. Not just here, but there. Not just now, but always. You sit with that thought. You let it take root. Because maybe this is the moment you've been waiting for. The moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance and begin to understand yourself as a participant in something vast, intelligent, and sacred. Quantum entanglement is not just a scientific curiosity. It's a call to consciousness. A reminder that you are never alone. A whisper from the universe that you are deeply, intricately connected to everything, to everyone, to every version of you that ever was or ever will be. So you stay, you lean in, because this isn't just theory anymore. This is your invitation. An invitation to journey beyond the ordinary and step into the quantum field of possibility, where past and future merge into now, where thought becomes creation, where intention shapes reality, where your story is still being written one quantum choice at a time. Part 2. The Invisible Threads of Reality. The story continues. Though now it feels less like a story and more like a revelation, a quiet remembering. Because once you've glimpsed the idea that time isn't linear, that past, present, and future are entangled, something in you shifts. You can't go back. Not to the old way of thinking. Not to the illusion that you're a single point on a line, moving helplessly forward. You begin to feel something else. Something stranger, something more real. And it begins here. With the invisible threads of the quantum world, let's go deeper. Let's explore this idea not just as philosophy, but as the actual foundation of your reality. Imagine you're looking at two particles, tiny, subatomic specks, invisible to the naked eye. So small, in fact, that their behavior doesn't follow the same rules as larger objects. They're unpredictable, uncertain. They move not just in one direction, but in all directions at once until you observe them. It sounds like magic, but it's science. And when these particles are entangled, they become something even stranger. It means they're no longer just two. They are one system, one being, connected across distance, across time, in a way that defies common sense. Change one, and the other changes instantly. Not because a signal traveled between them, not because of some secret communication, but because, at the deepest level, they are no longer separate. They are one. And now imagine this. You are made of particles. Your brain, your body, your thoughts, your memories, all built on the same quantum fabric. So what if the entanglement we observe in particles is also happening in you? What if you are entangled with yourself? Not just the self sitting here now, in this moment, but with all the versions of you that exist, all the ones who made different choices, all the ones who loved differently, walked different roads, lived other lives. Could it be that they are still with you, Could it be that their energy still flows through your life in subtle ways, like echoes, like dreams, like an instinct you can't explain? Let's pause for a moment. Let's talk about something you've probably felt before, even if you didn't have the words. Have you ever had a sudden urge to turn left instead of right, and that decision changed everything? Have you ever met someone and felt like you've known them forever, though you've never met before? Have you ever sensed that something just isn't right only to find out later you were correct? What if those moments are signals? What if they're whispers from another version of you trying to reach across time, across possibility, to guide you? What if you are not imagining it? Because in the quantum field, intention matters. Consciousness matters. In fact, it's everything. The observer effect tells us that particles exist in a state of potential until they are observed. Meaning, reality doesn't collapse into form until a conscious being interacts with it. You are that conscious being. You are the observer. You are the one turning the wave of possibility into the shape of reality. This is not poetic metaphor. It's quantum mechanics, and the implications are staggering. It means that you, simply by paying attention, are shaping the world around you, not metaphorically. Literally, your awareness springs reality into being, and your belief determines what is possible. Now stop and ask yourself, what have I been believing about myself all this time? Because those beliefs are more than thoughts. They are instructions, they are blueprints, they are the patterns by which reality begins to crystallize. Let's come back to you. Let's come back to the moment you're in right now. Breathe. Feel your body. Feel your presence in the now. Because in this moment, everything converges. Your past is still echoing. Your future is still listening. And your present, the sacred center point, is where all of it meets. This is the place where change begins. Right here, right now. Not in 5 years. Not when you're finally ready. But now. Because the quantum field doesn't respond to time. It responds to intention. It responds to clarity. It responds to feeling. So the question becomes, what are you broadcasting? What signals are you sending out to the field? Are you transmitting fear or trust? Are you replaying regret or envisioning freedom? Are you bound to the memories of what went wrong or aligned with the dream of what could go right? The field is neutral. It is infinite. It contains every possible version of you, and it listens. Not with ears, but with vibration. So choose your vibration with care. Not with pressure, not with shame, but with love. Because every time you choose to feel good, to believe in possibility, to trust that you are supported even in small ways, you align yourself with a version of you that is already thriving. And that version of you is entangled with you. Right now, already connected, already sending signals, already walking just a few steps ahead. Maybe you're wondering, is this just wishful thinking? Is this all too beautiful to be true? No. This is the bleeding edge of science. This is what quantum experiments have been showing us again and again. Reality is not as fixed as we once believed. It is fluid. It is alive. It is co-created. And so are you. Because here's the truth. You are not a powerless passenger in your own story. You are not stuck. You are not limited to one path, one outcome, one destiny. You are a quantum being, capable of choosing a new frequency, a new emotion, a new reality at any moment. And when you do, the universe reconfigures around that choice. Not instantly, perhaps. Not always, obviously, but inevitably. Because every choice you make sends ripples through the quantum field. And the more aligned you become with the version of you that already exists in joy, peace, and abundance, the more easily you step into that reality. Not by force, but by resonance. By becoming a match for the life you dream of. Let's go deeper still. Let's talk about coherence. Coherence is when your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are all moving in the same direction. When your heart and your mind are no longer at war. When your internal world becomes harmonious. That's when magic begins to happen. That's when synchronicity finds you. That's when life starts to feel less like struggle and more like flow. Because in a coherent state, your heart emits a measurable electromagnetic field that literally communicates with the world around you. And this field is not bound by space or time. Just like entangled particles. Just like your future self. So when you feel love real, grounded, authentic love, you're not just improving your mood. You're tuning your field. You're sending a signal to the quantum universe. And that signal does not return empty. It begins to draw in people, events, and opportunities that match your frequency. This is not magic. This is coherence. This is resonance. This is you, becoming a conscious creator of your timeline. So now the invitation becomes even clearer. You're not here to fix the past. You're here to embrace the present with such deep awareness that the past no longer defines you. You're not here to chase the future. You're here to align so powerfully with your essence that the future begins to chase you. You are not here to wait. You are here to wake up. Because the truth is, you've always been quantum. You've always been connected. You've always been powerful. Now, you're just remembering. And as you remember, your world begins to shift. Bit by bit, choice by choice, thought by thought. Until one day, you look around and you realize you're not in the same reality anymore. You're in a higher one, the one that was always waiting for you. The one where the best version of you is not a distant dream, but a present truth. Entangled, alive, here. Now, part 3. Meeting the quantum you. You sit quietly now, not because there's nothing more to say, but because something inside you is listening. Listening for a whisper from that deeper part of yourself. And in that stillness, you begin to sense it. A presence. Familiar, yet unfamiliar. Close, yet vast. A version of you who has already walked the path you dream of. They are not in the future. They are already here, waiting for you to remember them. We call this version of you the quantum you. The one who already lives in harmony. Who already knows how to love without fear, who already wakes up excited to be alive, who trusts life, even when the road twists and turns. You've felt glimpses of this version before, in fleeting moments of clarity, in dreams that felt more real than waking life, in the quiet power of knowing you're meant for something more. This quantum you is not a fantasy. They're not a delusion or a mask. They are the truth beneath all your conditioning. The you who exists when the noise falls away. The you who never stopped shining, even when the world tried to dim you. So now the question becomes, how do you meet them? How do you become that version of yourself? In this lifetime? Let's begin with something simple, yet revolutionary. Identity. You see, in the quantum field, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are, not in the way you've been taught to fear bad vibes and shameful thoughts creating negative outcomes, but in a gentler, wiser sense. You are a frequency, a pattern, a field of energy and information, pulsing outward in every direction, and the universe matches you with what you most consistently believe to be true about yourself. So if you've been repeating stories like, "I'm not ready," "I'm not good enough," "things never work out for me," then you're not being punished. You're simply broadcasting that version of you into the quantum field and receiving confirmation of that belief in return. But here's the miracle. You can change the story. Not by force, not by pretending, but by choosing to shift your identity from the inside out. Because when you begin to feel like the version of you who is already free, already worthy, already enough in life begins to reflect that shift, bit by bit, subtly at first, and then suddenly, everything starts to change. So how do you shift identity? The answer isn't in the doing, it's in the being. It starts by asking, who do I choose to be now? Not someday, now. Because the quantum you already exists. Not in a future that hasn't happened yet, but in a parallel timeline, vibrating at a different frequency. And the bridge between timelines isn't time at all. It's choice. It's presence. It's energy. You do not become that version of you by waiting. You become them by embodying their feeling here and now. What would they believe? How would they walk? What would they stop tolerating? What would they welcome with open arms? Start there. Start with small, courageous steps. Start with breathing like someone who trusts life. Start with dressing like someone who honors themselves. Start with speaking to yourself with love, not because you've earned it, but because you are it. And as you do, you begin to collapse the distance between you and them, until the line disappears entirely. And you are the quantum you, not in theory, but in truth. Let's talk now about environment, because you are not separate from your surroundings. You are always in communication with them. Your home, your habits, your digital spaces, these are all mirrors of your inner world. So ask yourself, what environments support the quantum you? What spaces make you breathe deeper, feel lighter, think clearer? What habits keep you rooted in the identity you're stepping into? It doesn't need to be drastic. You don't need to throw away everything you own or start from zero. But maybe you clear a corner of your room and create a sacred space just for you, just for stillness, or writing, or dreaming. Maybe you delete one app that drains your energy and replace it with something that lifts your spirit. Maybe you change the way you speak about your life. Because words are not harmless. They are programming. And every time you speak, you reinforce one timeline or another. So let your words become portals. Let them open doors to who you truly are. The next part is harder, but necessary. It's about letting go. Because stepping into the quantum, you doesn't only mean adding new things. It also means releasing what no longer matches who you're becoming. This is where many people resist. Because they want the new life, but they want to keep all the old patterns too. And the field doesn't work that way. It's not about punishment. It's about resonance. The old reality cannot follow you into the new one, so you will be asked to let go of identities that brought you comfort, of stories that helped you survive, of relationships that once felt like home but now feel like chains. It will hurt, sometimes, deeply, because we become attached to our pain, to our limits, to the people who mirrored our wounds. But every time you let go of what no longer serves, you free up energy. You create space, and the quantum field responds to space. It rushes in to fill the vacuum with new possibilities, new people, new timelines that were waiting just beyond the veil. So trust the release, even when it feels like loss. Because on the other side is truth, and freedom, and alignment. Now let's talk about the most powerful catalyst of all, emotion. In the quantum field, emotion is a frequency, a signal, and the emotions you consistently feel act like coordinates. They determine the version of reality you tune into. This doesn't mean you must be happy all the time. This doesn't mean you're failing when you feel grief, sadness, anger, or fear. No. It means that when you feel those things, you honor them. You feel them fully. You let them move through you, not define you. Because suppressing emotion creates static in your field. But expressing emotion consciously, safely, honestly clears the channel. It makes you available to higher frequencies. So the key is not to avoid difficult feelings. The key is to keep choosing love, again and again, no matter how many times you fall. To feel your fear and still act with courage. To feel your doubt and still take the next step. To feel your heartbreak and still believe in beauty. This is emotional mastery. And this is what tunes you to the frequency of the quantum you. Because they are not perfect. They are present. They are not without pain. They are awake within it. And that is what makes them powerful. So now we return to the beginning. Back to the moment where you first heard those words. Imagine for a moment that the line between your past, your present, and even your future doesn't exist. Do you remember what you felt? A tremble, a spark, a whisper that maybe, just maybe, everything you've been told about reality is incomplete. Now you know, it wasn't just a possibility. It was a remembrance. Because the truth has always lived inside you. You are not linear. You are not fixed. You are not limited. You are quantum, entangled with every version of yourself across time and space. And at any moment, you can reach across the veil and pull one of those versions into your now. Not with effort, not with logic, but with presence, with coherence, with belief. So this is the invitation. Wake up to the power you've always had. Start treating your thoughts like paintbrushes, your words like spells, your emotions like fuel, and your imagination like a portal. Because you are not just a passenger in this life. You are the pilot, the dreamer, the one who gets to choose. And the moment you do choose, the universe listens. It always has. Because you and the universe are not separate. You are the same field, the same energy, the same love, just remembering itself through your eyes. Part 4. Living the shift. So, what now? You've remembered the truth. You've touched the quantum you. You've glimpsed what's possible when identity, frequency, and emotion align. But this next step, the one that makes all the difference, is not about waiting for another sign. It's about living the shift, living it right here, in the small hours of the morning, in the grocery store, on the hard days, in conversations where you used to shrink, in moments where the old you wants to come back. The quantum you doesn't live in a faraway future. They live in your next decision. You may wonder, but how do I keep this going? How do I not slip back into the old? And the answer, though gentle, is clear. You will slip. You will forget. You will fall back into old thoughts, old habits, old fears. And that's okay. It's not failure. It's contrast. It's feedback. Because now you know what the old timeline feels like and you can feel when it no longer fits. The discomfort is not punishment. It's your evolution calling you forward. You've upgraded your system. Now the old patterns feel too small, like clothes you've outgrown. That's how you know the shift is real. So when you feel yourself spiraling back into scarcity or fear or self-doubt, pause, breathe, and ask, what version of me am I feeding right now? You always have two voices within you, one that belongs to the past and one that belongs to possibility. They will never shout at the same volume. The old voice is louder because it's familiar, because it's been rehearsed 1,000 times, because it wears the mask of reason and caution. But the voice of the new you, it's quiet. It whispers. It speaks in curiosity, not control. In faith, not force. In softness, not shame. You don't have to silence the old voice. You just have to stop taking instructions from it. Let it speak. Let it scream if it must. And then lovingly say, thank you, but I choose differently now. That's how timelines shift. Not in explosions, but in whispers. Let's talk about alignment. You've heard the word, maybe too many times. But what does it really mean? Alignment is when your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your energy all say the same thing. It's when you think love, feel love, act with love, and radiate love. It's when what you want and how you show up are no longer at war. And you'll know you're in alignment not because everything is easy, but because everything feels true. Even the challenges, even the delays, even the pauses. Because now, you trust that life is organizing around your coherence. That the more you align, the more your outer world reflects your inner truth. Alignment is not perfection. It's practice. And every day is another chance to realign. In the morning, when your eyes open, breathe. 2-9. Set a frequency before the world sets it for you. Ask, what am I choosing to believe today? Not out of pressure, but out of power. You are not a passive receiver of reality. You are a creator, a conductor, a tuner of infinite timelines. So let's bring this down to earth. Let's talk about the everyday magic. Because if this all stays in theory, it never becomes transformation. You are not here to escape life. You are here to infuse it with consciousness. So what does quantum living look like in daily moments? It looks like catching yourself when you say, "I can't," and replacing it with, "I'm learning." It looks like showing up to your goals, not with force, but with flow. It looks like trusting the timing of your journey, even when it's slower than your ego wants. It looks like choosing silence over reaction, curiosity over judgment, stillness over panic. It looks like walking into a room and anchoring peace instead of absorbing chaos. It looks like making decisions from your future self, not your fearful self. And it looks like celebrating your growth, every step, every pivot, every gentle shift. Because these small moments, they are the shift. Now let's talk about others. What happens when you grow and the world around you doesn't? When your energy evolves and your friends still vibrate in fear? This is where the path gets lonely. But hear this. You are not here to fix anyone. You are not here to convince, to argue, or to dim. You are here to shine so brightly that others remember they can too. Some will not come with you. Some will resent your shift. Some will try to pull you back. Not out of cruelty, but because your change reminds them of their stagnancy. Love them, but do not shrink. Because every time you choose growth over guilt, you send a signal to the field. I'm ready for aligned connections. And the quantum field responds. Suddenly, new souls appear. People who speak your language. People who see you, not the mask, not the version you performed, but the truth. And when they come receive them, not with guardedness, but with recognition, because they are not strangers. They are reflections. Your people are already on your timeline. You just have to keep walking until you meet them. Let's return now to something you may have forgotten. Your power, not the kind you chase, not the kind others give you, but the kind that rises quietly when you remember who you are. True power doesn't need applause. It doesn't seek domination. It doesn't live in ego. It lives in presence. It's the power of sitting in silence and knowing you are enough. The power of walking away without needing to be right. The power of speaking truth, even when your voice trembles. The power of choosing joy, even when the world says you shouldn't. This power isn't loud. It's steady. It doesn't burn out. It burns through illusion. It cuts through fear, through conditioning, through the thick fog of doubt. And when you live from that power, you don't need to chase alignment. You become alignment. You embody the quantum field. And life reorganizes around you. So here's the final truth, the one you must write on your heart. Your life is not happening to you. It's happening through you. Every thought, every choice, every word ripples out into the quantum field. And the universe listens, not to your wishes, but to your frequency. So don't ask, when will it happen? Ask, who am I being? Who are you being when no one is watching? When the outcome is unclear? When the old voice tries to come back? That's when it matters most. Because the timeline you live on is the one your energy keeps choosing. You don't have to know the how. You don't have to see the end. You just have to stay in resonance. Follow the yes. Honor the no. Let go with grace. Receive with openness. And when you fall out of alignment, as you will realign without shame, return without drama. Reclaim your truth again and again, because every moment is a doorway, and every choice is a timeline. You are not late. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are remembering, reactivating, rebirthing your highest self through your breath, your being, your belief. And in this new chapter, the quantum you is not a stranger. They are your mirror. They are your destiny. And you? You are already on the way. Part 5, the final integration. So here you are, at the edge of the known, beyond theory, beyond seeking, beyond waiting for proof, and perhaps, just for a moment, you feel it. Stillness. That stillness that doesn't come from having all the answers, but from knowing you no longer need them to feel whole. This is the shift. Not loud, not grand, but undeniable. The moment when you stop chasing timelines and start embodying them. When you stop asking for signs and become one. When you stop looking for the future and start living as if it's already here. Because it is. You are already the version of you who made it. They're not in some faraway year. They're right here, in your breath, in your presence, in your willingness to choose again. Not someday. Now, let this be your integration. You don't need more fixing. You need more remembering. You don't need to be better. You need to be truer. You don't need to make it happen. You need to align with the version of you where it already has. And then, let life meet you there. Let reality rise to meet the frequency you've chosen. Not because you forced it, but because you finally believed. So if you forget again as we all do come back here, to this moment, this breath, this field of infinite choice. Because in the quantum universe, nothing is set in stone. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are not bound to the rules of logic or lack. You are the observer, the architect, the vibration, the source. And your power is in your presence. Every time you return to it, you collapse a new reality into form. So take a breath. Hold it. And as you exhale, imagine shedding every old identity that no longer fits. Release them with gratitude. They got you here, but they cannot take you further. Now, it's your time to lead with light, to walk with wonder, to speak with certainty not because you know the how, but because you know who you are. And the quantum you? They're not waiting. They're already living. They are already celebrating. They are already saying, "Welcome home."